record hop to radio station, and he never ever caused me any problems. Always a gentleman, always doing his best to help. He was really good about everything. I knew he wasn't happy with the life he was leading, but he never allowed it to affect his work. He was professional through and through, and I could tell there was more to him than just a great singer and performer. I remember one time we were in San Francisco, getting ready for a performance at the Cow Palace alongside the Marvelettes. The only problem was, finances were tight, and we were only able to bring one Marvelette with us, Gladys. The idea was, we would recruit 4 more girls once we got into town, and they would stand in for the rest of the group. Eddie took charge, arranging the auditions, listening to the girls who filed into the room, and putting together a group for the show. He wasn't even fazed when we realized we didn't have the arrangements for the songs with us. He taught the girls what he could, harmonies, choreography, the lot, while we waited for Motown to send the sheets to us, and he was still putting them through their paces while I was frantically running around San Francisco trying to discover which hotel the package had mistakenly been sent to. I finally caught up with it at a tiny little place in Chinatown, whose proprietors could barely understand a word I spoke. The record we were promoting on that outing, Jamie, would give Eddie the massive hit that we all had been waiting for. It was a sensational disc, and I still love it today. In fact, my first granddaughter would be named after it. But Eddie was still not happy. He wanted to stay in the music business. He wanted to stay at Motown. He just didn't want to record and tour any longer. And I have to say that performance's loss was songwriting's gain. His brother Brian had already shown himself to be a supremely gifted composer and arranger. Now, with Eddie alongside him, providing the lyrics that would illustrate Brian's music, the pair were unstoppable. As I read this book, so many memories came flooding back. Some were sparked by the tales that they tell, those all-night poker games, for instance, or the first time I heard "Where Did Our Love Go?" It's funny. There's a story going around that when the song was first completed, it was offered to the Marvelettes. Not true. That song was always intended for the Supremes, and when you listen to it today, you know it could never have been any other way. Other memories sprang from my own observations. I remember what a perfectionist Eddie was, how he used to wrestle with his lyrics, and how, even after a recording was completed and already on its way to the top of the charts, he would still be thinking of ways he could have improved upon it. "Stop in the Name of Love," for example, one word, in that song would haunt him forever. Even as he wrote the song, he knew that when Diana sings, "Leaving me alone and hurt," she ought to have sung "Alone to Cry." But he didn't make the change, and he has regretted it ever since. Oh, and it didn't make him feel any better the first time Barry heard the song and made the same observation. "You should have written cry, not hurt." Poor Eddie. His expression didn't change, but he knew Barry was right. He wouldn't make that same mistake again. Holland-Dozier-Holland became the powerhouse behind Motown's success in the 60s. I know, because I was the man responsible for taking the finished records out into the world, to play to the DJs and journalists of the day. Some songs were a hard sell, but HDH records all but sold themselves the moment the needle touched the grooves. Not even the first snatch of lyric, the opening bar. I don't have the statistics to hand, but Brian, in particular, was responsible for so many millions of records sold, whether as a writer, a producer, or as an inspiration to others. And together, there was a point where HDH's music truly was the sound of Motown. Their true importance, however, was not as a money-making machine. Even today, I cannot think of any songwriting team in history that created as many great records as they came up with. We all know the hits, but even their B-sides and album tracks were classics, a status that is hammered home today every time Motown digs into the vaults and discovers another song that might never even have been released at the time, but which now takes its place proudly alongside the very best of 60s Motown music.